So, we'll go over an update for court this morning that I went to, how much of a craziness it was. This is going to be my breakfast and lunch that I haven't eaten yet. It is 12 and I still haven't had breakfast. I'm not feeling this good. I vomited this morning, but that's usual. That happened all during childhood. That's nothing new. My drinking didn't help, but I'm sure my mother's druggings did even worse because my stomach was getting worse and worse from the time she gave me a full bottle of Epicac till the time I was on prescriptions to 19, vomiting, and my parents were having to tell my sister to give me a glass of milk with my meds in the morning or I'd vomit violently after I spent a month with her. They had to tell her that that was part of my prescription as the doctor prescribed me a glass of milk. So that was a problem. I had a fight with my roommate. He thought that our court date was tomorrow. I told him to go down on Friday. I had the date today, but it's no good if my roommate doesn't go because he is on the paperwork. He has to show up with me. So I had to get his ass to court this morning, but he wanted to fight me, and eventually he called the court saying, they're closed. So he called them. Oh, nope, they are open at 8. And they told me, oh, shit, I gotta go. We gotta go. I said, that's what I've been telling you all morning, asshole. That's what I told you on Friday. That's what I told you on Thursday. It's on the wrong calendar. That says 2023. Or it's not even really a calendar. It's just a handwritten note. It's 2023's calendar notes that we wrote and hung. And then there's a piece of paper right here that says July 22nd. But July 22nd is today, Monday, not Tuesday, David. So we showed up 40 minutes late. Luckily, the people in front of us took forever. So, yeah, they ran out the clock. And the judge, when we finally said he didn't have enough time, even if we did show up on time, because the other people went over their given time, and the judge didn't think we were going to show up, so he let it happen. So he rescheduled it for the 29th, but we've already been forced out. We have to be out and have all our shit on August 20th. And I'll give a bigger update next. But yes, we are definitely 100% pack our bags out the fucking door on August 20th. All because I'm on medical leave and I cannot return back to work until the doctors give me paperwork. And the doctors are very slow to give me paperwork, and they don't have much of correct records. That's part of the problem. If you called my doctors in Lowell and asked them, what is Zach like medically? They would say, well, his father and mother have documents that he is mentally ill, he does drugs, and he's a psycho lunatic who lives in the woods. That's all you'll get. Why? Because my mother and father, that's all they wanted for me. They didn't want the doctors to get the reports that I got scabs on my shins from falling down from a neurological disorder. At age 7, when there was an overdose and my full body was changed, the teachers were concerned of this change in my movements and speech. They started putting me in physical and speech therapy. They started calling it a coordination issue. Now, what I know for sure is that this has continued every last minute, and I've had full-blown seizures from this coordination issue. So I know a lot more than my father about this. I have to live with it in my spine, shocking me like a fucking taser for 25 years. I remember how it felt to wake up that night. I have PTSD flashbacks of every last memory of that night. I have flashbacks of my mother forcing me to drink a full bottle of Epicac. I have flashbacks of me trying to light matches in the closet and then having my mother use rhetoric like, you're playing with matches, you could burn the house down, so you're trying to burn the house down. You are trying to burn the house down, aren't you? And I'm saying, I don't know, no, I don't know, no. And then I say yes one time because I'm all confused because my mother keeps on drilling this into me. And then she goes, aha, yes it is, yes. You will yes, say yes because you just said yes, so now that's what you're doing. No matter how many times I say I don't know what I'm doing, My mother says, well, I do know you're trying to burn the house down. Just admit it already. And because I don't know, I say, well, my mother must know. But then as I get older, I realize playing with matches is not the same thing as purposely trying to burn down your father's house. And I couldn't even get any of the matches to light, so there was no burnt material. My mother just came in there with a story and confused a child. That's it. So we got shit like that going on all through my life. And now all I need to pay my rent is to go to the doctors and get paperwork, but I can't get it because my father wants to continue leaving all my dead mother's shit in stone. So whenever I go to the doctors, they can't make heads or tails of the real Zach. The Zach that works as a teacher's aide, the Zach that helps disabled, really hard people to work with. I mean, damn, I have an 84-year-old sex offender that is fucking so hard. People have to be so hard. I mean, people either hit him or abandon him other than me. Nobody can put up with him but me. Now, how could I put up with an 84-year-old sex offender that gets abusive, will try to smack you around, use you, takes your money, does the opposite of what's good, cancels checks, and causes problem after problem after problem on purpose and can't follow instructions? How could I stand helping somebody like that and not ever have to put my hands on him and never have to abandon him? Why do I last a year when nobody else can last a month? Why do I last 8 years with these people? It's not because I don't have any other choices. I could stay with Joanna. I could stay there's many other disabled people I can stay with. So how could I choose to help these really tough people? Why wouldn't I hang out with Oscar, a normal person, African American, who wants me to stay with him? Because these people need help, and that's one of my skill sets. And I have lots of people I help. But see, I also have a high tolerance for this stuff because I had to sit there and take my mother's abuse. Meanwhile, she lies to other people and tries to turn things around on me. She'll do things like, for instance, I try to show my mother my swimming medal that I won in the orphanage. One of the only items that I had in the orphanage was my swimming medal that I won in the YMCA orphanage swim class type deal. And I try to show this to my mother. It has my original name on it. But instead, my mother does horrible, abusive stuff like steals the medal, calls me a thief, says it must be an African American's medal because he's more athletic than me, and I'm not athletic, so it has to be the other foster kid because he's African American and athletic. Can't be your medal. Plus, I didn't see you win it, so you must be a liar and a thief and making up fantasies. And look at the ZG on the back. You must be out to get me. Yeah, my new adopted child is out to get me, my mother said. Then she brings me to the doctor, gets me medicated, and starts repeating these stories to the doctors. This snowball rolls downhill, and she continues adding more and more stories in. And my behavior does get worse, but she blows it out of proportion, adds details that never existed. And that is why the family, they never heard my side. None of the family ever came up and said, Zach, is this true? No, they didn't. Instead, they just believed my mother's nonsense as my father nodded his head and said, that's true, yeah, Patricia's right, yeah, Patricia's always right, she used to be a nurse, she knows everything, yep, it was just an allergy attack, yep, he's just tired, yep, oh, nothing's going on here, yep, we just went to Texas and came back, yep, that's all. That's all, Dad, right? You just went to Texas and came back. Oh, Zach was just on medicine during childhood, that's all. That's all it was. Patricia told me everything was fine. Nothing happened in Westford. Zach's full of shit. Patricia would have told me if she'd almost killed a child. Come on. If Zach OD'd, wouldn't have I heard it by now? Yes, Dad, you did hear it. My father heard it at the doctor's office. He heard it at the doctor's office in Texas. He heard it from me coming back in Maine. He saw me with his own eyeballs fall in Maine to the ground, shaking like a leaf, not able to walk, screaming to go home and get out of the cold. while covering my ears because there's a banging going on and the flashing lights was bothering me, so I closed my eyes. So I'm closing my eyes, covering my ears. I'm on the ground shaking in a fetal position going, I want to go home, I want to go home. And my mother and father just leave me like that, so I just keep on shaking and screaming on the ground. After about 5-10 minutes, they go, you're stubborn. Oh, that must be autism, my mother says. That must be autism. That must be another mental illness. Yeah, get him in the car. We'll go home. Well, you got to ruin all our fun. And that was their attitude towards it. Not bring me to the doctor, no emergency room. And then my mother just brought it up to psychiatrist and told them it was a mental illness. Meanwhile, she left out the part about the overdose at age 7. She never told the doctors about that. You know, that might be a good idea. Hey, my son was in physical therapy, speech therapy, and was talking about some weird interaction with meds I gave him at age 7. All those things co-enacted at the same time, and they all seem to be together. Shouldn't we look into what that is, seeing as your son says it's been continuing every day of his life, seeing as he keeps on bringing it up? Shouldn't we look into this illness? No. We should just let my mother make up stories. That's the way we get to the bottom of this.